What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Grounded 2. In this episode, Into the Abyss is just around the corner, so smash that like button, consider hitting that subscribe, and let's get into it. So there's been a new Casually Grounded 2 dev stream. They're showing off a bunch of new things for the upcoming Into the Abyss update, including new buggies, and a whole new rework for the Mass Stranger raids. So the brand new buggy, the Toe Biter. This is its nest. It's got a very aquatic feel with all the holes and all that sort of stuff into it. It's a lot smaller creature than what I thought it would be. A very interesting choice for the devs, I reckon. It does sort of move around the land a little bit slower than a lot of the other creatures like the ants and stuff. But that's because this is an amphibious creature. So not only you can go on land, but you can go in water as well. And to my knowledge, it's the most fastest creature in the water. It's definitely faster than just swimming alone. However, this comes at a cost. They said that it's one of the hardest buggies to obtain. So if you want this, it's going to be difficult, mate. It's going to be difficult. It does have a venom attack, and it has a chill attack as well, which apparently in real life they have a venom attack. I never knew that. But yeah, either way, this buggy is supposed to be a lot like an ATV getting around. So I can't wait to see this one in the Into the Abyss update. So this is the new biome area called the Gnarly Bark, nicknamed the Mountain. This is the tree that you see sitting right next to the pond. A very interesting area that the devs have created here. This area has a very dense population of enemies, a very big mixture of enemies as well. They say it's got everything from park enemies, from the park bench picnic area sort of enemies, all the way to the guard enemies. So that's very interesting that they got them over here as well as their own exclusive enemies that are just to this area. The deeper you go into the Gnarly Bark, the more exclusive the enemies will become, including this guy right here, the striped bark scorpion. So this is an exclusive one that's to this area. He's a lot more dangerous than the original scorpion that's in the game. Keen eyes will see he has a different sort of tail attack. It looks very similar to me, but apparently it's different. And because of these creatures and the mixture of the creatures in this area, there's going to be a lot of fights between them because they don't like each other, which is pretty interesting. But the devs definitely seem to have this vertical thing going on in this area. So not only do they want you to climb as high as what you can up in the tree, however, they also want you to go down deep. You can see right next to me on the right hand side, there's a bunch of holes here, which take you deep into the world. So there's a whole new section down there. It seems pretty interesting. I can't wait to go down and find out what's below this tree. There also seems to be other areas that are around this place, including this area here that looks a lot like a toxic zone. So they've also done a bunch of reworks to the original systems that are in the game. For instance, the webs. So before you used to jump on a web and you'd pretty much be stuck. You needed the orb weaver spider to cross them. However, now they've made it so you can cross them a lot easier. But now they have these random spawn systems that will randomly spawn in different creatures. Everything from spiderlings all the way up to possibly a wolf spider. So that's going to make it very interesting. You're going to have a lot of those jump scare times where you think a web's just safe, and then when you run across it, no, all suddenly wolf spider is on you, mate. It's going to be fantastic. But also, I don't know if I do like this. I do. It's interesting. It's interesting, you know. The idea is, so you got many different ways to do things. So you can still cross the web if you want to. However, the ideal way definitely to cross it is with the orb weaver. So that's going to be your best bet. But you can also use things like drinks and foods and stuff like that. That'll make you walk a lot faster, a lot quicker, and allow you to get across the webs as well. So it's just about adding many different ways to play the game. The next thing that they've changed is the PTS travel systems. So before, these things used to only go to one place. It didn't cost any raw science or anything like that. You used to get in them and they'll go. However, now your very first one that you get is going to cost you 10 raw science. However, the others are going to cost you a lot more. But the thing is, now once you unlock one, you have to go find it to begin with. But once you unlock it, it's now going to take you to the map. So once you go to the map, you can now travel to any one of these PTS systems that you have in the world. And the way they've done it is actually pretty good. So as you can see, it'll take you to a map. Once you go to the map, it's then going to cost you 700 raw science. No, don't get worried. Don't get freaked out. Apparently they've added new ways to get this 700 raw science. Either way, once you got them unlocked, you can now travel to these areas, which is going to be fantastic. And so the whole idea of the change is so that way there's different ways to play the game. So you can play it in many different ways that you want to. You can go along and get your raw science and use the science way of getting around by using these different pods and getting from one area to another. You can use your buggies, or you can use the returning zip lines. Or you can use a mixture of the whole lot too. You can have a zip line going from your base, going down to one of these pods that'll take you to a different place, and then zip lines taking you from there. It's going to be fantastic, mate. I cannot wait to see how this works and what people do with this in their games. And yes, the zipper has returned. However, finding it is going to be a lot harder than what you think.
Good luck finding it.
So this brings us back to the raw science. There's been a huge overhaul of the Masked Stranger system. So before, it used to be set on a timer, and it would come and raid you at a certain time, which was kind of annoying. A lot of players were complaining about this. And the other problem was that once you'd done the mixes, that was it. It would turn off, you wouldn't get raids anymore, you wouldn't be able to fight the orc creatures and get your gold cards, all that sort of stuff. It was gone, mate. It was finished. It was over. Where now they brought it back to, which I love this, is very similar to the original grounded theory, like the original grounded way that they used to do it, where it was like a heat system. Remember in Grounded 1, where if you kept attacking ants, before you know it, they got annoyed with you and they would come and attack you. Well, they've done the same thing here, where if you keep attacking, I believe it's the orc creatures. Once you keep attacking them, you're going to annoy the Masked Stranger, and the more you do it, the more chance you have that you're going to get raided. However, they've also added in, which I love this as well, multiple different ways to deal with this. So if you want to keep attacking them, they've actually added in things to combat and help you do this, help you fight the raids. And if you don't want to do it, then all you got to do is not attack the orc creatures. And they've also added in things to help you hide away as well. So they've got the best of both worlds, which I absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. Because sometimes in the game, you do want the raids. Sometimes you don't want the raids. And yeah, having the ability to really annoy the Masked Stranger and get them to come and raid sometimes just makes it so much more fun and so much more playability in the game just in general. Absolutely love this change. Can't wait to see how it works. Speaking about the mixer, that's the next thing that they've changed. So you never used to be able to replay the mixers once they were done. Once they're completed, that was it. There was no fixing it. There was no more. People wanted to replay it to, get those gold cards and stuff like that, and to get things like raw science. So what they've done is they've completely changed the mixers. So once you complete the mixer, the orc presence in the area will disappear. However, once you repair the mixer, they will return, allowing you to fight them again. The devs are doing really good on their changes here. I'm loving what they're doing and the replay ability of the game. So they also have a brand new collectible item that can be found all around the map. They call these caps. They're basically pods from back in the day. Anyone who remembers that? People used to play with them back at school. And they're like this little chip thing with different sorts of pictures on them. If there's a whole bunch of them spread all across the map, so when you find these pods, if you find them all, apparently you can get yourself a brand new mutation. So I'm not too sure what it was, they didn't give it away, but it does sound pretty damn good. So one of the final things they have, you can change your game into a custom game. This does disable some achievements, however, it's one way of playing the game in your own style. So you can do many different things, including all the things that you can see below. You can turn quests on and off. You can change the crafting. You can change the buildings. You can change like your the stamina and the water, all that sort of stuff. So that way, if you've got a player that doesn't like to have to go get water and food all the time, you can change the game to play it the way that you want. Now, developers, if you're listening to me, one thing I would really love to see in this list, a slider that allows you to change the amount of damage that a player does to building pieces. And so this reason is so you can change the world into a PvP situation. So normal weapons don't do much damage to other people's buildings, and you need things like sprat bursts and stuff like that to blow open their walls or their doors in order to access the building, giving you an ability, a raiding attack on somebody else. That would be my ultimate dream and ultimate fantasy, mate. If you can bring this alive, please do. So Into the Abyss releases in 1 week. We're going to be all over it on my channel, so hopefully you're going to be there with us. Yeah, we're going to leave this one here. Smash that like button, consider hitting that subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode. See you later.